For much of the last century, dinosaurs were imagined as oversized lizards, lonely predators lurking in swamps, or giant herds of plant eaters that wandered the earth with little thought beyond eating and surviving. Movies and popular culture cemented this image. Think of the famous scene from Jurassic Park. A solitary Tyrannosaurus Rex emerges from the forest, shakes the ground with its footsteps, and unleashes a deafening roar. But what if this picture is incomplete? What if dinosaurs were more than solitary giants or mindless beasts? What if, like elephants, wolves, and birds, they lived in societies with cooperation, competition, parenting, and even leadership? New fossil evidence is forcing scientists to rethink everything we know about dinosaur behavior. Trackways, nesting grounds, bone beds, and even microscopic analysis of bones and eggshells are revealing patterns of life that go far beyond mere survival. Dinosaurs may have formed herds, cared for their young, communicated with one another, and lived complex social lives. This is the hidden story, the secret social world of dinosaurs, a story locked inside stone for millions of years and now coming to life. Bones tell us what dinosaurs look like, but the real secrets of behavior often lie in the fossils that are not bones. Footprints called trackways preserve the movement of animals across ancient landscapes. In multiple locations across North America and Europe, paleontologists have found long trails of footprints belonging to multiple individuals moving in the same direction at the same time. In Spain, one site revealed more than 100 sauropod footprints, showing young animals walking between larger ones, almost as if they were being shielded. Other evidence comes from coprolites, fossilized dung. By analyzing the contents, scientists can tell not only what dinosaurs ate, but whether individuals may have fed in the same area together, suggesting communal feeding grounds. Even skin impressions and feather imprints hint at social display. A feather pattern might not just be for insulation, it could have been for visual signaling, much like the peacock's tail today. The message is clear: dinosaurs didn't simply exist as scattered individuals. They moved, lived, and behaved in ways that only make sense in a social context. One of the strongest pieces of evidence for dinosaur society comes from their parenting. In Mongolia's Gobi Desert, the fossilized skeleton of an Oviraptor was found crouched protectively over a clutch of eggs. Originally misinterpreted as an egg thief, later studies revealed the dinosaur was actually brooding its own nest, arms spread in a protective gesture frozen in stone. In Montana, Jack Horner and his team uncovered vast nesting sites of the duck-billed dinosaur Maiasaura. Fossils revealed not just eggs, but hatchlings of different growth stages in the same nest, suggesting the parents returned repeatedly to feed their young. These findings led to the dinosaur's name, Maiasaura, the good mother lizard. Further south in Patagonia, paleontologists discovered gigantic nesting grounds of titanosaurs. Thousands of eggs were buried in shallow pits, indicating that adults may have returned year after year to the same spot. Like modern sea turtles, some eggs even contained fossilized embryos with impressions of tiny skin patterns. These sites prove that at least some dinosaurs were not indifferent reptiles. They were caring parents, investing time and energy into protecting and raising the next generation. That is a profoundly social trait, one we associate with mammals and birds today. Imagine standing on a late Cretaceous floodplain 75 million years ago. The Earth vibrates beneath your feet. In the distance, dust rises into the sky as a herd of hundreds of duck-billed hadrosaurs approaches. At the edges of the herd, large adults form a protective wall. In the center, dozens of juveniles cluster closely, shielded from predators. This isn't speculation. Trackways in Canada and the U.S. reveal evidence of herds moving in tight formations. Some show juveniles walking in the middle, while adults flanked the outside, exactly like modern elephant herds. Bone beds tell an even larger story. In Alberta, the Centrosaurus bonebed contains the remains of thousands of horned dinosaurs, suggesting they lived and died together in massive herds. In Argentina, scientists discovered a site with over 100 individual titanosaurs fossilized in close proximity. The scale is staggering. These were not small groups. Some herds may have numbered in the tens of thousands, migrating across continents in search of food and water. Just as caribou or wildebeest march across the African savanna today, dinosaurs too were travelers in great migrations. Every society has structure. The question is, did dinosaurs have leaders, dominance hierarchies, or even alphas? Evidence suggests they might have. In ceratopsians like Triceratops, many skulls bear scars from horn-to-horn combat. These battles may have been fights for dominance, deciding which individual held the top rank within the herd. Frills and horns may have doubled as status symbols, used to intimidate rivals and attract mates. Predators are trickier. Did T-Rex hunt alone, or did it tolerate company? Some fossil sites contain multiple tyrannosaurs preserved together, leading scientists to wonder if they cooperated. Bite marks on bones sometimes suggest group feeding, much like modern crocodiles gathering at a carcass. Smaller predators, such as Deinonychus, provide stronger clues. Fossils of multiple individuals have been found with the remains of a single large prey animal, suggesting coordinated hunting. If true, this would place raptors among the most socially advanced hunters of the Mesozoic. While we can't say for certain whether there was a boss dinosaur, the evidence hints at social rankings, rivalries, and perhaps even leaders that guided the herd. A society cannot function without communication. Dinosaurs likely had many ways to talk to one another. Skull studies of hadrosaurs, such as Parasaurolophus, show elaborate crests with hollow chambers. Scientists reconstructed these crests digitally and discovered they could produce deep, resonant calls, low-frequency sounds that might travel for miles, like the rumble of an elephant. Such sounds could have been used to keep herds together, warn of predators, or attract mates. Other researchers propose that some dinosaurs may have used closed-mouth vocalizations, like doves or crocodiles. Instead of roaring, they could have produced deep rumbles by inflating throat sacs, sounds that vibrated through the ground as much as the air. To a dinosaur, communication may have been not just something you heard, but something you felt. Visual signals were equally important. The horns of ceratopsians, the domes of pachycephalosaurs, and the bright feathers of some theropods may all have served as displays. Modern birds use feathers not only for flight, but for courtship rituals, strutting, dancing, and spreading plumage in dazzling shows. It is almost certain that some dinosaurs did the same. Scientists have even studied microscopic structures called melanosomes preserved in fossilized feathers. These reveal actual colors: black, red, iridescent. Imagine raptors with shimmering feathers, or small dinosaurs with bold stripes, flashing signals to one another. Some might have even glowed in moonlight, creating spectacular displays during mating rituals. Dinosaurs weren't silent giants. They lived in a world of sound, vibration, movement, and color, a constant dialogue shaping their societies. No society is without drama. Fossils preserve both conflict and cooperation among dinosaurs. In Alberta, many Triceratops skulls show healed punctures from rival horns, evidence of fierce battles between herd members. Pachycephalosaurs, with their thick domed heads, may have butted each other like modern bighorn sheep, competing for dominance. Some ankylosaurs bear healed fractures in their armor plates, likely from violent clashes with rivals, but cooperation existed too. The raptors like Velociraptor and Deinonychus may have hunted in coordinated packs. One fossil shows a group of velociraptors attacking a much larger prey animal together, claws slashing in unison. Even giant sauropods may have cooperated by traveling in mixed-age groups, with adults shielding the young. When we compare these behaviors with modern animals, the parallels are striking. Lions hunt in prides, wolves ambush in packs, and elephants mourn their dead. Dinosaurs may have had similar bonds, alliances, rivalries, partnerships that shaped not just their survival, but their social fabric. In this way, dinosaur societies mirrored our own, filled with alliances and rivalries, fights for power and acts of cooperation. They were not static machines of survival. They were communities in motion, with all the complexity of social drama. Sometimes, tragedy provides the clearest evidence of society. In Alberta, paleontologists uncovered a site where hundreds of Centrosaurus died together, likely in a catastrophic flood. In Montana, bone beds of Maiasaura reveal entire generations wiped out by natural disasters. China offers another example in the province of Shandong. Scientists discovered dozens of juvenile hadrosaurs preserved together, apparently killed by a sudden mudslide. Their clustering suggests they traveled in age-specific groups, almost like dinosaur schools, where the young learned survival skills together. In South America, mass graves of sauropods show entire family groups perishing in droughts. Adults and juveniles remained side by side, their deaths testifying to strong social bonds that persisted until the very end. What's striking is not just the scale of death, but the implication of life. These dinosaurs did not scatter at the first sign of danger. They lived together, and they died together. The young and the old remained within the group until the end. Such sites show us that herding behavior wasn't occasional. It was central to their existence. The bond of the herd was strong enough to define their fate in both life and death. When we piece the evidence together, a remarkable picture emerges. Nests prove parenting. Trackways prove migration. Frills, feathers, and crests prove communication. Injuries prove rivalry. Bone beds prove herds. Dinosaurs were not just creatures of tooth and claw. They were social animals with relationships, roles, and responsibilities. Some nurtured their young, some migrated in massive groups, some fought for dominance, others cooperated in the hunt. Picture a hadrosaur herd at dusk, the deep calls of adults echoing across a floodplain, young ones clustering in the middle, their mothers nudging them forward. Ceratopsians display their horns, signaling rank and readiness for battle. Raptors circle the edges of the herd, communicating with sharp cries as they prepare to hunt. This was not a silent, mindless world. It was a live interaction, a prehistoric society in motion. This changes how we see the Age of Dinosaurs. They weren't primitive reptiles stumbling through history. They were part of the great experiment of life, laying the foundation for the social behaviors we see in birds and mammals today. The secret lives of dinosaurs are no longer hidden. Science is revealing them, bone by bone, track by track, nest by nest. Dinosaurs were not solitary titans stomping across a silent earth. They were mothers, fathers, siblings, rivals, allies, and leaders. They lived in societies, just as elephants, wolves, and humans do today. This discovery reshapes not only paleontology, but our imagination. It challenges us to see dinosaurs not as monsters of fantasy, but as living animals with rich and complex behaviors. And it leaves us with a haunting question: if dinosaurs had not gone extinct, what kind of societies might they have built today? Would they have developed group strategies, rivaling wolves? Would they have formed family bonds as deep as elephants? Could some have evolved intelligence and social structures approaching primates? Perhaps we might have shared the earth with herds of intelligent hadrosaurs, or cities of raptors with language and culture of their own. It is speculation, but the fossil record whispers that the potential was there. The answer lies buried in stone, waiting to be uncovered. Until then, we are left with the extraordinary truth. Dinosaurs were not just survivors. They were social beings, and their legacy still lives on in the birds that sing above us.